Every GTA player knows what FiveM is, the massive roleplay platform that hosts famous servers like NoPixel, SSB, and District 10. Since its rise to popularity in 2020, it has since become one of the most streamed games on Twitch and was even bought by Rockstar back in 2023, proving its worth to the franchise. But while on the surface FiveM has seemed incredibly successful, behind the scenes, it's seen legal battles, shady business deals, rogue employees, leaked files, and ulterior motives from Rockstar that were all exposed in a 100-page document released this week, all of which points to one inevitable fact, that FiveM is bound to collapse very, very soon. This is the unfortunate downfall of FiveM, and why this may have been Rockstar's hope all along. It all started back in 2015 with the release of GTA 5 on the PC. FiveM would be created by a developer simply known as NT Authority, or NTA for short. While still primitive by today's standards, these FiveM servers would garner a small dedicated community of players who saw the vision that NTA had for the platform. And due to the extra growth, NTA would hire members who go by Disguise, LWSS, Gaudy, Thorium, and Tabara, all of which will be referred to as the original developers. Unfortunately, however, as these servers grew more and more popular, FiveM would grab the attention of those NTA feared the most, Take-Two Interactive. Take-Two, the publishers behind Grand Theft Auto, quickly took notice of FiveM's success, and in 2017, Take-Two would not only send private investigators to NTA's house, but they also took legal action against NTA and banned them from ever modding on one of Take-Two's IPs ever again. Defeated, NTA had no choice but to abandon the project, but after seeing the FiveM community attempt to revive what was taken away from them, NTA would start working on FiveM once again, instead under a secret alias. This would go on for the next 3 years as NTA worked with a small team of about 20 contractors to improve FiveM and turn it into what we know it as today. Around this same time in 2020, NTA would reluctantly hire 5 developers to help with FiveM, who would eventually become the antagonists of this story, a collective of members simply known as Groot Gang. Groot Gang consisted of 5 different members: Groot, Thurs, Nemoa, Zin, and Kane. Although they had been hired to work on the project alongside the existing staff, Groot Gang allegedly did very little to contribute from the start, and management of the group was poor. But overall, work was still being completed by the original core group of developers, and things at this point were starting to look up as FiveM became extremely successful in this year. However, despite Groot Gang not doing much to advance the project, Groot Gang had dangerous plans for FiveM, and one that would ultimately lead it to its downfall today. After stealing internal data from the back end of FiveM, Groot went behind NTA's back and secretly held meetings with Rockstar talking about a possible acquisition. Remember, at this point, NTA is still legally barred from working on any Take-Two IP in any capacity, so Groot getting into talks with Rockstar about acquiring the company puts NTA into a very tricky position. While obviously hesitant about the idea, NTA eventually went along with the plans, and in August of 2023, Rockstar had officially acquired FiveM for $20 million. Now, you may be asking yourself, why would Rockstar want to buy the company that they spent years trying to take down, and even went as far as to hire private investigators as a scare tactic to have it removed? And you will see exactly why in a little bit. But while on the surface this seemed like a win for the modding community, internally, everything went wrong. As it was detailed in the document released this week, the first month of the acquisition was a complete disaster. Groot Gang had reported NTA to Rockstar in an attempt to shut them down, management from Rockstar was non-existent, work was barely getting done and was never on time, and this would all cultivate to NTA, the mind behind FiveM, being suspended from the company after just 3 weeks. On top of this, the FiveM team was now under the supervision of a director at Rockstar named Ethan Hirsch, and this director would do very little to solve the internal problems the company was facing. With NTA now out of the company and morale at an all-time low, Groot Gang sees this as an opportunity to cement themselves as the senior management of FiveM, calling themselves the, and I quote, visionaries behind FiveM, and taking credit for the work other developers has done, causing a further rift between Groot Gang and the original developers. And if it can't get any worse, Ethan sides with Groot Gang for all of this. However, NTA couldn't just sit back and watch as Groot Gang tries to take over the project that they had worked on for years. So, as a sign of good faith, NTA proposed to pay 3 of the Groot Gang members a large portion of the money NTA had acquired a part of the acquisition, totaling over 6 million euros. NTA, regretting this decision, would then get sued by Groot in order to keep the funds he didn't deserve. However, the lawsuit was dropped after it was alleged that Groot had been secretly embezzling money from FiveM for some years, and he knew that he would have to show his bank records as part of the legal case, so Groot sent back the extra portion of the money that NTA had sent. This situation would get NTA back into the company for a little bit, only for Groot Gang to ignore NTA even more than before. Now down an extra 3 million euros and further away from the team than ever, NTA would once again be suspended after some complaints from Groot Gang members, and be officially suspended from the FiveM team permanently. Now, after the doc was posted, it has been alleged that NTA wasn't fired for no reason at all. NTA has apparently done some unsavory things in the past to warrant this termination, but because no evidence has been shown as of yet, I will simply leave it at that. Now, with work on the project coming to an almost halt at this point, Ethan Hirsch decides to enlist the help of another server-based platform called Alt-V in a last-ditch effort to get things back on track, but it would instead have the complete opposite effect. I'm sure a lot of you by now are aware of the December 2023 leak where the GTA 5 source code was posted online and exposed a bunch of unreleased content that we never got for GTA 5. Well, it turns out that the culprit of this leak was a rogue employee, a part of Alt-V. I shit you not. While the Alt-V team was in talks with Rockstar about joining FiveM, they were also in the process of pooling their money together so they could purchase the GTA 5 source code. They would eventually acquire it for $7,000, and one of the members would post the leak on Discord to one of his buddies, along with the password the members needed to access it, which is how the world got their hands on it. Unaware to Rockstar at the time of who actually leaked this info, a member of the original developers named Disguise knows exactly who did it, but decides not to say who it was. Because of this, an obvious conflict arises between the original developers and the new Alt-V staff. So, Alt-V decides to team up with Groot Gang against them, and again, Ethan backs Groot Gang in this situation. This causes extreme suspicion with the original developers that Ethan, now a senior director at Rockstar, is secretly trying his best to dismantle FiveM in its entirety, and what the team found out a few months later, it seems they may have been correct. Leaked documents from Rockstar had detailed the beginning of a new project the company had been working on called Project Rome, or otherwise known as Rockstar's online modding engine. The goal is for Rockstar to essentially create their own platform similar to the likes of Fortnite Creative and Roblox, with its eventual use most likely to come with the launch of GTA 6 on PC. The original members suspected this to be a complete replacement for FiveM in the future, and this caused even more turmoil between FiveM and Rockstar. Everything the team had seen now points to the fact that FiveM will no longer be available within the coming years with the introduction of Project Rome, and it seems most likely that even the big servers have begun to abandon ship. After the acquisition in 2024, Rockstar had announced new terms of service requirements for all servers, banning them from using real-world cars and assets in their server. Next, an owner of a successful server called RSM Project claimed that some servers were being targeted more than others and accused Rockstar of special treatment when it comes to these changes, and he may know exactly why that is. It has been alleged already that some of the biggest servers on FiveM like NoPixel and Complexo have been in talks with Rockstar to help them with Project Rome, in exchange for allowing them to keep their server the way it is. Rockstar has been seen doing livestream events with the Complexo server, where the stream openly shows the server violating Rockstar's new TOS by having real cars and assets. With the favoritism being shown and the discovery of Project Rome itself, arguments broke out between Ethan and the team, ultimately leading to one of the longest-lasting developers, Disguised, to be fired. Because of Disguised's termination, every last original developer of the FiveM team since before 2020 would immediately abandon the project as well, ending an era. By this point, FiveM is in complete shambles. The community and servers are constantly looking for new updates, no actual work is being done to advance the project, and Rockstar couldn't care less as they focus on Project Rome. And that all brings us to where we are today, a company with no direction, no real team, no plan to get back on track, and ultimately doomed to be replaced by Project Rome. And all of this cultivates to this week when a coalition of members who felt they were betrayed would get together to write this 100-page expose about FiveM. Now, before we end, there's a few takeaways you need to remember from this situation. One is that it's not Rockstar's fault. In the document, the coalition says, everyone we spoke to would like to explicitly say that they have no hard feelings against Rockstar and still consider themselves fans. They speak positively about Rockstar and don't consider FiveM or the creator platform to be anything at all like them. Rockstar has thousands of employees. Don't extrapolate the actions of FiveM to Rockstar or Take-Two. Rockstar employees don't get away with embezzling money, bullying their boss, or doing nothing for years. So while Rockstar may have been hatching an entire plan to replace FiveM in the future anyway with Project Rome, it was mainly the actions of a few bad actors in the FiveM team that drove the company to the position they are in today. Second takeaway is that we don't know exactly who wrote this document. Obviously, this document is extremely extensive, and it definitely shares favoritism towards NTA and the original developers. But the author of this doc is simply known as the Coalition, with no members mentioned of who exactly that was. New information may come to light, but judging from the fact that a lot of info in this doc is verifiable through screenshots and articles, it seems most likely that this is the most accurate account of what happened to FiveM. And the last takeaway is that as of right now, FiveM is still playable. GTA RP is still one of the biggest games on Twitch, and it seems that it will stay like that at least until GTA 6's release. But there is no denying that as soon as the PC version is released, Rockstar will have much bigger plans with Project Rome, and it's inevitable that FiveM will not be a part of these plans.